You've got to decide what you want, what's acceptable behavior to you, what's the purpose of your relationship. You know, my purpose of our relationship is not only just to have the relationship, but I am a clinician and I travel and I speak and I teach, and I'd like a very well-balanced, versatile horse, meaning I'd like a horse that I can take out on a trail ride. I'd like a horse that I can develop into dressage. I'd like a horse that could, for me personally, that can work cattle. I'd like a horse that can enjoy the companionship of people throughout all of this. And so, you know, she's not a lawn ornament and she's not a backyard pet. She's my partner. And it's really important to me that she understands those parameters of our relationship, that I need her to step up to the plate and be with me. How I go about asking and helping to develop that within her means everything. That is the approach. And what do I mean by how I go about helping to develop? I'm responsible for her welfare. Why? Because she no longer exists in a wild society of horses. She's domesticated. And now she belongs to with my herd, and I am the leader of that herd. And leadership means that I am the role model, and it's about exemplary leadership. It's not about dominant. It's not about being bossy. It's not about showing her who's boss. It's figuring out what works for this horse and how I can keep the harmony and the cohesiveness within my herd. But I am in charge. I'm in charge of their welfare on many different levels. And I take that very seriously. And when I decide that I'm in charge, it also means that I clarify. I'm very clear with what I need from them. It's no different than child rearing. I say this all the time. How would you like your child to come to the table and eat? How would you like your child to learn manners? You send your child away to school. To me, every horse deserves that. When we domesticate them, we take them away from their natural environment, and then we put them into ours. And how many of us really give them what they need? A solid foundation where they develop the level of companionship and friendship that they need to bond with, yet they understand social order, which is a level of structure and discipline within all societies. Horses need that too. So it's just being clear with your intention. I don't like that attitude. Then understanding, what do I do with that? Where do I go if I don't like your head tossing all the time and you pinning your ears? Well, you could say, I don't like it. I'm not quite sure what I need to do with it. So how about if I just move you out? Because I know, black and white, that when you move horses out and put pressure on them, that's the last thing they want to do. The last thing they want to do is work. It's innate for horses to conserve their energy. It is innate. So that's where we come up with the general definition in horsemanship of pressure and release. That is the generalization in the black and white of that. So if you're asking your horse to partner up and they're not trying by blowing you off and eating bark or smelling manure, they're not staying connected, and you know that you're trying and you're doing everything with your position and drawing that horse in and sending that horse out with clear guidance, and that horse, let's say she stopped and she refused to come, I would ask 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, I would send her out. I'd say, get your hiney out of here, get somewhere until you get a better attitude, till you want to join up with me. That's your choice. You chose not to join up. Well, now I'm telling you, this is my choice. I'm going to do something about it. It's unacceptable when I'm about to do something, we are in school together and I'm in charge, and that's unacceptable. I need you to partner up with me. And so you just send them out. You can keep them out there until the horse starts to say, hey, woo, I'm ready to come in. Come on in then. Let's go about this process differently. Let's see if we can't get a better look in that eye, a better expression on your face. Don't get me wrong. If I take her out, and we're going to show the camera on this a little bit, I'm going to take her out of the round pen. Because when I brought her over here, I brought her over at Liberty, and she thought many times of leaving me and trotting off into the grass where my other horse is in the yard here. She thought of leaving me. And I'm going to, and then gives me that really, ears kind of like, I really don't want to be here with you. And you know what? Tough. I love you. And we have something to do. And I need to make this as wonderful an experience as possible, balanced with discipline. There's always a balance in everything. I'm not just going to come in here and make this get going and you're going to do it my way. No, I want you to enjoy this. What little can I do? But I also know innately within her personality, it's a little bit more challenging. That's an independent horse for you. And I accept that. I understand that now. So how can I work with that? That's really important. And, how can I make how can I make it so that she's going to want to work harder because of the reward? So figure out what the reward is for your horse. For some horses, it is to stand quietly. For others, it is a treat. For others, it might be grazing right now on the lush grass that's coming up versus the pasture where there's barely any. It might be coming into the stall and getting a flake of alfalfa or some molasses water. Work with that. Why not? You're not bribing. You're just saying, hey, I want to make this a really pleasurable experience. And I know for a fact, because I know that you really don't want to work. It's just not your thing. So what does work for her? And that's where you need to take the time to really go slow and figure it out, but clearly define what's acceptable. And sometimes it takes a lot of experience working with different horses or spending a lot of time developing your own to figure out, you know what? This really does work. I have a proven formula, program, approach that I know works. So I would say to Katerina or anyone else out there with a horse that's a little bit more complex, maybe has more whoa than go, is harder to motivate and inspire into movement, a little bit more stubborn, more independent, just trust me that you can take this round penning approach very, very deeply. And you can the whole purpose of this is to shift the way that you think and perceive so that you can start to look at your horse a little bit differently and go slower and figure out where you need to be specifically for this horse. And again, the best thing is if somebody sends me a video, because Katerina's in Finland, it's really hard for me to make a guesstimate, on a horse and a person I've never seen the dialogue or the interaction between. I'm just pinpointing and choosing and talking about specific experiences and my experience as a trainer. But that doesn't make it right or wrong or black and white for you. So you can always send us a long distance video. We can do a video assessment if this doesn't help at all. And we can go from there. So thank you. So before I bring Sundance out, like I promised when we were in the round pen, I just want to talk a little bit more and summarize that it's not easy for me to give a clear answer. There's no way you can when you take this kind of mindful approach. All I can do is ask you to keep going deeper, take your intention, embodiment exercises, the power position and movement so that this allows you and your horse to have dialogue. And in that dialogue, you can begin to understand exactly what your horse is telling you. And you may already understand, which Katerina has to me, she was able to pretty much diagnose her horse's personality. And I enjoyed the words, the language that she chose. Because she didn't really label her horse. She just said she's pretty much an independent thinker. It takes a lot to motivate her to join up. She's kind of like, yeah. So all I can say, the key word is movement inspires movement. And where in that movement, don't get lost in moving your horse around and around and around. That's not the key thing. Where in that movement is there that opportunity then to go deeper in the relationship? Meaning, is there an opportunity for the horse to say, hey, I'd really like to try this again? Is the horse asking you, I'd really like to come in and try this again? Everything is about the try, figuring out what you need to do to get the try. Because without try, you want the connection. So far you've going slow and you got the connection. All of a sudden you lose your horse because your horse stopped trying. Your horse gave up. Doesn't sound like this horse gave up because it was afraid. It gave up due to attitude. So where do you go? Where's the try? That's the defining line for me. And that would be, the number one key answer here is when does your horse stop trying? And where do you need to be to help inspire more of that try? I don't know. I'm not in that relationship. How I would interact with your horse is totally different than how you would. So it's just really hard for me to give you a concrete answer. But the try is always key, and we're going to look at try with Sundance. I mean, she could bolt and leave me. Trust me, she's done it before. And the beautiful thing is that's okay. It doesn't happen very often. Now, she assumed to come out, and I did not ask her out. So catch yourself. I didn't ask her out. If I just let her bully her way, believe me, she's going to take that opportunity to say, you know what, you let me out on my own terms, I'm going to go for it. I know that. So everything is, you don't go anywhere without me paying attention to you, and you paying attention to me. There's partnership. You saw her just mindlessly get ready to come right out that door. And I said, oh, no, you don't, girlfriend. So she needs to stay with me. That's the name of the game. And I know my horse, which means I'm not going to take my eye off of her. I can look at that camera and I can still see that eye. So I'm going to keep supporting connection, which is keep turning with me and stay with me. Yep. Because eating grass is a privilege, my dear. You have to earn that. You have to earn the treat. You have to earn the alfalfa when I bring you in out of the field before I work with you. You need to earn that. There's some things that I will give you unconditionally. But if I give this to you all the time, I will create a brat and a horse that's unappreciative. So there's lots of things to think about, meaning here we go back to the round penning. You don't want to be with me? You think it's better over there? Then stay out there, but stay out there at a canter. And then you'll appreciate being quiet with me. That's key too. Then you will appreciate being quiet with me. That's fine. I'm happy with that. She's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And she moves quickly like that because she gets in trouble. She does get in trouble. I'm quite clear with her. And it will always be like this. It gets better, it gets richer, it gets deeper, it gets softer, it gets easier, and this is who she is. And I accept that, and I love it, and I have to work with it. And it's beautiful because she is so spirited, I wouldn't change a thing. So thank you. I hope that helps.